Hey, what's up, dorks? Can you believe it? We have actual sunlight in this video. I know, you're not used to it. So if you're a gamer with soft baby bitch corneas, grab your gamer glasses to shield them from actual light. Or maybe you have a pair of those glasses with the quadrifocal lenses, the same ones they use in a refracting telescope to look into space because you're a mega nerd. Throw those on, because I know they change colors when you walk out in the sun. Again, to protect your soft, baby little pupils from having to focus on anything brighter than a Nintendo DS screen. Either way, we're here with the very highly requested Weird DMs Ruining Lives Part 2. You're all very curious. What other demons, what other criminals, what other, menaces to society have sent me a story? And let me tell you, there are a bunch. And we got some exciting ones today, so why don't we just run through them? If you somehow didn't see the first part, I highly recommend you watch that. You don't have to watch that to watch this, but maybe you should, because you got little baby bitch gamer eyes. All right, here we go. Well, why don't we start with this one? It's just labeled dog. I ran over someone's husky and kept driving. I'm sure whoever it belonged to is very upset. Don't laugh. It's not funny. It's not funny imagining a small animal being punted several feet by a 98 Ford Explorer. That's not funny.
What the dog doing?
It's not funny that an animal could have potentially been thrown into the sky like a sack of potatoes, tumbling, twisting, like a Rocket League car before hitting the pavement and turning into spilt tomato sauce. That's not funny.
What the dog doing?
Stop it. Moving on. I made my flatmate shit her pants. That's good. Hello, Dr. Noel. Don't do that. My first year of university was all online because of COVID, so my flatmates and flatmates. Sorry, why would I ever read this in an American accent? My first year at Hogwarts was all online because of COVID, so my flatmates and I were forced to spend a lot of time together. This one girl used to get particularly drunk most nights and it was very annoying. We would always have to put her to bed, etc. About halfway through the year, she broke our freezer, still not sure how. I'm surprised you called it freezer and not something more painfully literal like frozen meat box. About halfway through the year, she broke a frozen meat box, still not sure how, and decided not to tell anyone. Long story short, I ate some bad meat and got severe food poisoning. Eating spoiled meat and getting poisoned, there's nothing more British than that. Couldn't eat anything for weeks and ended up having to spend a couple nights in the hospital. All this time, I was shitting my guts out and vomiting straight stomach acid, all her fault. The worst part is that she never even apologized, so I decided to exact revenge. Oh shit, this is when it turns into the Sherlock Holmes story. It was the first party in a long while because we'd been in a strict lockdown, so we were having a couple of drinks as a group before heading off. I offered her a drink and filled it with laxatives. Then when we left, we made sure to forget my keys so that she'd have to lend me hers. When I realized I'd forgotten my phone. Half hour later, she's pounding on the door, trying to get in for the toilet, but don't let her in. She runs back to the party to try and use their toilet, but before she can ask the host, violently shits herself in front of everyone. Over the following weeks, I was a big promoter of a new nickname, Doo-Doo Darcy, and she ended up dropping out of uni pretty soon after. I'll be honest, I expected more out of a Brit. You're gonna drop out of school because you shit yourself? You guys started drinking at 12. I would think that you guys would have shat yourself from drinking at least 3-4 times before even getting to college. So I'm disappointed in her as a UK person. Still, it's kind of messed up that you put a diarrhea spell on your friend. It's not cool. Shout out Darcy. If you've been watching me for a while, you know I always say never browse the internet raw. You always want to be protected. That's why NordVPN is great, because it protects you while you're browsing online. It's very easy to use. They got over 5,100 servers in 60 different countries, and it's easy to find a place near you for better speed or a faraway location for more content. It works on up to 6 devices in every major platform: Windows, Mac, Android, iOS. It works on your phone. It even works on Linux if you're that kind of nerd. They even offer a double VPN, which means you can route your traffic through a second VPN server, meaning you're doubling the encryption. If you're not understanding me, what I'm saying is they let you double bag it. If you're going to be traveling again, it's a great way to access content from back home or potentially the country that you're in. And because your traffic is encrypted, your internet service provider cannot throttle your usage, which you know they like to do. So if you're browsing raw on the internet, you should consider using NordVPN. And if you want to check it out, you can go to nordvpn.com/Noel and get 2 years plus an additional month with a huge discount. Again, that's nordvpn.com. You'll get 2 years plus an additional month with a huge discount. Don't browse the internet raw. Now let's get back to these crazy stories. My allergic friend. See, this is me. and I'm already prepared to take special offense to this story, so let's get sensitive. I've been sitting on this story for a while without being able to tell anyone for fear of being prosecuted, so I need to get this out. There's this guy I know who started dating a girl I had a huge crush on. I was friends with this dude, so I didn't feel like I could say anything, but I really resented him for it. One day, all three of us were going to his birthday party. We were all in the same friend group. I knew this dude had a nut allergy, so I volunteered to bake a cake for the party. You're gonna kill this dude with almonds and she's still not gonna like you. You're gonna be at that funeral trying to cozy up to her, and she's just gonna spend the rest of her life trying to find another guy who looks like that but is alive. I told everyone that I followed this really great family recipe for a Snickers cake, which was kind of true. The cake had a bunch of nuts in it, which I made a point of telling him in front of a bunch of witnesses. See, this is this is criminal-minded shit, man. What I neglected to tell him was that the cake also contained a shit ton of Brazil nuts. Oh, so that's the distinction. He obviously didn't eat any of the cake, but his girlfriend, my crush, did. A little known fact about the Brazil nut is that it is the only sexually transmittable allergen, meaning if you have sex with someone who has ingested it would get the allergen. Sure enough, I heard the next day that the dude had gone into an anaphylactic shock in his sleep, closing his... I want to believe this so bad. He ended up pulling through, but the extended oxygen deprivation did a number on his brain, and he still struggles with long words and complicated tasks to this day. I didn't really mean to kill him. I just wanted to get back at him somehow. Anyway, things didn't pan out because they're still together to this day, but it's fine. I'm over her now. My brain is... I guess she wasn't the only one getting long strokes. Look, man, my brain is broken, probably about as broken as his, reading this story because you're a real person and you have this evil circling around in you. You're a dickhead. I'm trying to think of something funny to say, but my mind is so shocked from what the I just read. You're performing James Bond level assassinations with nuts. The next version of the Hitman game shouldn't even feature guns. Your inventory is just Brazil nuts and shellfish. This is crazy. I'm not the police and I'm not a priest either, so I'm not gonna be with the whole like condemning you thing, but you're definitely a dickhead. That's a dickhead move, and whatever God you pray to, you're gonna have to work that out with him or her. Your God could be Adele. I don't know. Found my teacher's porn on the school bus. Dear Noel and Noah. Nice, man. The team. It's to both of us now. By the way, now that you mentioned Noah, I was thinking Noah needs to have the equivalent of a producer tag on edits. Instead of just a piece of text that says edited by Noah Sampson, there needs to be a clear watermark in the audio, Damn, Noah, how'd you cut this? Something like that. I was in year 10, which is like 9th grade, and on the school bus throwing bits of paper onto a guy sat in front of me. Then my phone buzzes. This has to be English, right? My phone buzzes? Who says that? And it's a message from my creepy ass friend. We'll call him Dennis, because this man was a menace. Who didn't go to my school. I'm pretty sure he didn't go to any school at that point. He sent me a text saying, bro, isn't this ... with an attachment that just read, Gilf gets finger blasted. Cool. At first, I was like, not a chance I'm opening that on the bus and having the people behind me think I'm into granny porn. But what he said got me curious. So I made sure everyone knew I got a weird ass video from Dennis. And next thing I knew, I had like 5 people peering over my shoulder as I opened an X-Hamster video of one of the English teachers wearing nothing but a choker and her legs far apart. And her thing pointed straight at the camera. As you can imagine, the bus erupted. And now I've got 20 people trying to watch this vid on a small iPhone 6 of our English teacher. Yeah, nice. Now, no one really liked her anyway. She was super stuck up, which I thought was kind of ironic and mean to most of the kids. So by the time I had to get off the bus, about 80% of the students on there had a link to the vid. Fast forward to the next morning, I swear to God, me and my friends see her crying with all of her books and stuff in her arms, half running, half walking to the car before she tire spins her way out of the school park. Never saw her again, to be honest. I like it that way. She was mean because she didn't get paid enough to deal with kids like you, and then you had to go mess everything up and get her canned from her first and her second job by exposing her outside of school activities. You could have just ran up the ad revenue and kept your mouth shut when you had to go up both of her jobs. So you definitely ruined her life. For this next one, we're going to mix it up, and we got a video. Noah, let's blur her face, and she has to say.
Alright, hi Noel. So, I wouldn't say I ruined someone's life, but I would...
Then why are you here? We only want to know about terror and bad people. Next. Alright, this one's crazy. When I was in 8th grade, around 2009, me and a group of friends set a trash can on fire in the boys' bathroom between classes and left it. Nice. Classic white kid behavior. Upon discovery, they immediately investigated it, and we were pinned as suspects for a couple students saw us in the area around the time it happened. The school administration had us write reports of the incident, and before we went up to confess, we fixed our story so that we would frame this kid we didn't like, who constantly butted in our group when he wasn't wanted. He wasn't a bad kid by all means, but admittedly we were assholes. Well, at least you recognize that. Long story short, he ended up going to juvie for the rest of his school life. Fast forward, around 2012-ish, me and that same group of kids were at the Guitar Center in the mall. I know y'all are losers. Just leaving the guitar room, and behind me I hear, "Hey dude." I turn around, and it was the kid. He had gotten out of juvie. This man looked hella pale and gaunt, like he had seen some things. He had that PTSD stare. Before I could say anything, he pulls out a shank and tries to jab me in the gut, but I swerved out of the way and everyone yelled in shock. Him, realizing that he was in a public place, he quickly played it off as a joke and started to get friendly. We awkwardly caught up and went on our way. I'm older now, and I regret a lot of things my douchey younger self did, including straight up traumatizing this kid, and I do feel like I should have gotten that shank. Well, you put him in juvie for years, so if you shortened your digestive tract, I think that'd be a pretty equal trade. I mean, it seems like you understand that you ruined someone's life and you feel very lucky that he didn't ruin yours. So maybe send that dude a gift card for Thanksgiving and remind him that you fucked up or something. Or hey, maybe just give him an opportunity to run over your husky and call it even. We haven't even read that many stories, but between the last video and this video, it seems a majority of them happened in childhood or just a short while after it. And it just proves that being a teacher is probably, one of the most dangerous jobs on the planet. But there's a lot of humans on this earth, so it makes sense that we have at least 500 submissions. I don't even know. 200 pieces of shit. That factors pretty nicely. 200 guaranteed pieces of shit for every 100,000 or something. This one is labeled, "This is a good one. I made fun of a guy for his parents missing." It's not funny. It's not funny to make fun of a guy whose parents are on a milk carton. It's not funny. Stop. Hey Noel, in middle school, I really didn't like this one person. This person was too perfect to be real. A straight A student, strong, good personality, popular, also a bit of an asshole. He made fun of my abnormal height. All reasons to hate someone. Yeah, you were jealous, man. You're envious of that. We understand that much. Anyways, about halfway through 7th grade, he suddenly wasn't at school. I asked why, and apparently his parents went missing. He was out of school for about a month. That was the perfect bait for me. I don't even know the rest of the story. Can you imagine this kid coming back to school and the buddy right here waits about a week and he's like, "Yo, dude, I heard they found your parents." He's like, "What?" He's like, "No, they didn't. But maybe they will tomorrow." Oh, that's slush. Anyways, he got back. In the morning, he came back without skipping a beat. I went to him, pointed and laughed out loud while saying, "Ha ha, how's the parents, bitch?" and walked away. Because of me, he gained the name Orphan Bitch. His parents ended up being stalked, and then... Well, that just took a turn, and you're a piece of shit, and if you somehow know where this kid is, you definitely need to send him a gift card for Thanksgiving, let him run over your dog, and then some. That is tragic. That's tragic. You're a bad person. And I'm only laughing because that's really the only response I could have to the rest of that story. Oh, man. Major dickhead. This one's relatable to all of you. In 7th grade, I catfished a grown man. We met in a chat room and exchanged numbers. I used fake pictures of some blonde girl and we grew really close. He told me about his ex and how he was a single father, and I promised to help raise the kid. He even let me talk to his son on the phone once. How are you in 7th grade talking to a grown man and he can't piece that together? We made plans for me to move in with him. I lied about having a plane ticket. He was waiting at the airport for me and calling my phone while I was at school. I ghosted him, and to this day, I feel like I may have given him major trust issues. I'm like 20 now, but it still haunts me. Yeah. Yeah, that would freak the fuck out of me too, because he's still probably looking for you. Here's a good one. I went to a Catholic school one year, and this newly ordained priest came in. No, never mind. He was like 22 or something, and literally a stud. Swear to God, girls in the school would constantly talk about sleeping with him. One day he comes into one of our theology classes with our teacher, who was around 25. Immediately we could tell she was nice, wetter than the ocean. In fact, he'd shown up at that class a lot, and every time she'd be smitten. One day I'm getting a drink of water, and I see him posted up on the lockers talking into her ear. He must have heard me be near and backed up, and the teacher stepped back too. When I went back to class, I told my mates that I saw them kissing, just because I thought it would be funny. Turns out they believed it and started spreading it around, and even some of the other teachers in the school started to believe it. Ah, jealousy, man. It must have made it back to the church or something, because that month he was removed from our school, and we heard he was actually excommunicated. I don't know if it was all because of the rumor or not, but he really didn't seem like that bad of a guy, so I think it might be my fault. Yeah, I mean, he was probably the forbidden fruit in the school, you know? And she bit, and the rest of the teaching staff was jealous, and they were like, well, fuck, if someone was going to do it, I had many opportunities to do it, and, well, she can't have him, no one can. But hey, maybe, you know, they met up afterward, and they lived happily ever after or something. Or, you know, you just ruined that guy's life. Either way, you're fine, right? You made it out okay. So who gives a fuck? I pretended to be my ex and rejected a job offer. Oh, in this economy, bro? That is on par with murder. My ex and I had a pretty ugly breakup, and we cut off communication immediately after breaking up. A day or so afterwards, when all the feelings were still fresh, I was using my computer and found that her email was still logged in from a week earlier. The second most recent email she got was a job offer that she really wanted and was excited about. Like I said, the feelings were still fresh, so in the heat of the moment, I replied to the email, rejected the job offer, and deleted it so she'd never see it. This was a few years ago, and we have never made up or talked since then, so she probably still doesn't know she was ever offered the job. Laughing my ass off. Wow. There's nothing even clever to say about that one. Just, wow. Stolen vape. I just know this story sucks. I went to a party and stole this girl's vape. She didn't know who took it, but she went batshit crazy, yelling at everyone to give her the vape back, or she would trash the frat house we were in. Ugh. Entitled teenager. Who gives a shit? Moving on. This email is titled, I sabotaged my neighbor's ventilation system and caused them to move out. And then he sends me a video. Why would you send me a deposition? Why would you even give me this piece of evidence? I'm not going to play this for your own protection, but buddy, come on. The confidence here is mind-blowingly stupid. This one's titled Sweet Home, Alabama. If there's anything we know about this series, if it's anything to do with Alabama, yeah, we know. My dad ruined my life when he decided to impregnate his sister. Now my bones are as brittle as one of my grandparents. I'm not even from the South. This stuff happens all over. Well, I think that's going to do it. I definitely think that's the end, and we don't need to read any more of these stories. I'll see you on the next one. Later.
Hey, shit's play, man, I had to switch it up. Yeah, might lose a few, ask me if I give a fuck.